Awesome. Good morning. Welcome. Good evening. It's evening now. And welcome to fall 2025. First, I want to congratulate everybody that's here and those of you watching this recording. You have survived, at least so far, the district's conversion to Banner. I don't know if you've heard that word yet, but whatever frustrations you're having with the systems that normally work really well at IBC, the issues that you might be experiencing are because of this new system called Banner. And any change in technology is always hard. And so we are dealing with some of that transition challenges right now on every, right, for your registration, for all my stuff as a teacher, for all my stuff as an employee, the whole system in the district has changed. So we're going through some growing pains, but I'm hopeful that we can get through it together. And now that we're here in class and we're relying mostly on Canvas, that I think everything was going to be a lot more easy moving forward, at least in this class for sure. So thanks again for being here. My goals for you tonight, I want to chat a little bit about me, just so you know where I'm coming from. I want to give you a little perspective of where I kind of bring myself into this mix of business law. I also want to discuss with you the expectations for this class and so that you know exactly where to look to find the information you need, and that you know how to succeed. And that third piece is I want to help you reach your goals. If your goal is to get an A in the class for your transfer, maybe just for your mental stability, like I have to get an A, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that tonight. If you're working full time and you're taking care of family members and you got to get through this class and you just want to get a C so that you can move on, I totally get that too. And so, if your goal is to get a C in this class, I'll show you how to do that tonight. And if you get a C, you're not hurting my feelings. I am hoping that I can help and encourage you and help you get to where you need to go through this class. I myself came through Long Beach City College out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And so, but I had some of my best teachers at Long Beach City. Even then, from transferring on for my bachelor's degree, later I got my master's in business at Cal State Fullerton, and then even later, my doctorate in organizational behavior from a private university. It was called Brandman at the time, connected to Chapman University. So through all of that experience, I still look back to those days at community college at Long Beach City and think like, gosh, I had some of the best teachers back then. So I think that's kind of partially what led me to teach here at IBC or to teach in higher ed and at a community college, because my whole job is to help you learn. And like the Cal States, the UCs, any of the four-year universities, most of those all have requirements on their teachers to publish and to research. And so a lot of times, like I experienced as a student at Cal State Fullerton, even, I had a teacher yell at us as a class one night. He said, I am not a teacher, I'm a researcher. He had to teach our one class, and then the rest of his job was researching and publishing. And so it might be cool to be on the front edge of your, discipline and your, a high ranking, if you will, person in that field. But at the end of the day, I look at our jobs at the community college at IVC. My colleagues and I, we love teaching. We love helping you. So that's why I'm here. Outside of college and undergrad, I worked in several businesses. I've been self-employed since I was 18, continuously. I even have some side hustle stuff now. So I continue kind of being self-employed stuff outside of teaching full time. Obviously, teaching is my priority. You are my priority. But just to show you, I've stayed involved in business. For 9 years of that, I worked full time in real estate. Just like you'd use an agent to help buy or sell a house, I did that with apartment buildings. So working more with commercial financing, but kind of residential buildings, anywhere from 2 to 50 units. And kind of just appreciated more of the business perspective of that in real estate. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from. I worked at a four-year university as an administrator for 4 years, opened a campus and did some business stuff there. And so I'm bringing to the table for you, just again to give you a little snapshot of me. I come from business. I moved to teaching full time because I realized that this is really what is fulfilling for me. the day in and day out of sales kind of wore me down after 9 years. And I had the opportunity to teach part-time, and I just loved it. So I transitioned into full-time teaching, but I truly hope that my business experience and bringing that to the table, and in some of that business experience, getting to work with lawyers and getting to work with, still, business professional, business owners, of all different sorts. Um, what was I going to say about that? A lot of when I took this class, business law, when I took this class at OCC is where I took mine. It was taught by a lawyer. And a lot of universities and colleges teach business law from the lawyer's perspective. And one of the things that really bothered me about that class is I had to sit there and I had to memorize case law and what happened with these past business, examples. And I remember sitting in that class going, in business, if I'm having legal troubles, I don't go look up case law. I call a lawyer. And so this is a business class. Most of you that are in this class are going to be transferring, and most of you taking some sort of business classes for your degree. And so I want to respect that, and I'm teaching this class from the business perspective. So obviously we talk about law, but really I take the opportunity of this class, understanding the law, but also bringing real practical business conversation, real practical business perspectives and scenarios to try to understand. And if anything, I hope in this class you will learn how to think differently. You're going to learn how to think like a business person, not like a future lawyer, right? I know most of you are not going to go be lawyers. And so I want to impart some of that business wisdom into your minds, overlapping that theory and the law that we're learning about in the book. And so hopefully, again, for me, it's really about finding use, you finding use with this information and helping you achieve your goals. So that's a little bit about me, kind of my hope and my goals for you in this class. Um, I've taught this class for many years now, and I think I have a pretty good structure set up. So what we're going to see tonight next is I'm going to show you exactly where to find things, make sure it's clear for you what is expected of you in the class. And I tried to make that very clear, so and helpful. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing screen. I should still be able to see the chats. So if you have questions along the way, again, feel free to pop in there. And I'm going to share our Canvas screen, our Canvas shell. Hopefully you've been in Canvas. If you have not been in Canvas, please get in there quickly. I have to drop, by law, I have to drop no shows in the first week. And so what that means is if you have not logged into Canvas and I can't see that you logged into Canvas, I have to drop you this week. So please do get in there at your earliest convenience. There is an assignment in there that is due on Thursday. So again, it would really help out if you got in there as soon as possible. For some reason, I'm having an issue with my sharing right now. So give me a quick sec. There we go. Please work. Awesome. All right, so you should see in front of you our Canvas shell. I'm in student view right now, so this should look very close to what you will see when you log in. First, I'll say, most of you, probably this isn't your first class at IVC, but if it is, this is your first semester and you're just getting your bearings, please, your first thing when you get into Canvas, under your account, and I'm a test student right now, so it won't look the same, but click this notifications button and select how you want to get your information. You can get it by email, you can get it by text, you can get it when it happens, like maybe an announcement or a grade change, or maybe you get it at the end of the day, or you get it at the end of the week. It's up to you when you get that information. And that way, you're actively getting notifications and information without you having to log in first into Canvas to see those things. Especially if you have multiple classes, it really helps to have that information being kind of fed to you as it comes. You can see the setup on the left, and I'll go through all of these links, but it's super simple. That doesn't mean that it's easy. It will take time, right? We'll go through all of this, but it's very simple on purpose. I only have basically one link that I'm pointing you to consistently. Right now, we're looking at the home page, and I have some information here that is static that will stay here available to you. You can see that we're going to be using the virtual book on the McGraw-Hill Connect system. If you're taking other business classes at IBC, you're probably going to be using this system regularly. We use a lot of their texts. And that link is right here. What's really great about this system too is that not only can you connect here in Canvas, you can go and purchase it. If you have bookstore credit, you can also use a bookstore voucher or code through this link. And if you can't pay for it at all right now, and you're like, how am I going to buy this book? I think the online access, if I'm not mistaken, last time I heard, I think it was around 50 bucks. It's really reasonably priced for a, legitimate textbook. Um, in addition to that, if you click on this link and you can't pay right now, everybody can get a free 2 week access. And I love this because if you can't pay right now, it does not hold you up from getting your week 1 and week 2 assignments going. It's really hard. You missed week 1, you missed week 2, and now you're having to catch up 3 weeks in one. Really difficult to do that with the reading and get caught up. So do get in here as quickly as possible into Canvas and also get access into McGraw-Hill Connect. Again, even if you can't pay for it, get in there, register, and sign up for that free 2 week access. At least get going with the reading. We'll look at the grades and the points and all the exercises and all that stuff, the assignments, in just a moment. Next up, our syllabus is here. It's linked here. I will also look at this with you before the end of our time. But the link is here for you to come back and download it yourself or to see it whenever you want. You'll see my office hours for this semester. I am on campus Tuesdays 1 to 3 in my office. That information is on the syllabus as well. I'll show you that. I'm also available at Zoom, on Zoom. Sorry, I can't talk. Between 10 and 1 on Wednesdays. If neither of these times work for you and you need to talk to me, send me an email. If you want to get me and you want a quick reply, send me an email. I'm coming from self-employment world, right? I'm coming from business. I kind of carry over my customer service, if you will, into my teaching. If I don't reply to you within a day or two, oh my gosh, send me another email. But likely, if you're emailing me, I'm probably going to reply back like soon, like within an hour or two, usually. Even at night, I'm often, checking emails at night. And although that gives me, that might seem a little crazy, right? Because a lot of teachers I know don't do that. Um, it gives me more flexibility during the day. Like I don't have to be sitting at a desk 9 to 5, right? Nor do you have to be sitting in this class, for a couple hours a week. So this gives us both flexibility. Email me first. If I don't reply back quickly, do email me again, please. And then thirdly, if you want to actually talk and have a conversation and these times don't work for you, email me and say, hey, Rick, can we talk, Thursday at 5? If I'm available, I'll set up a room and we'll chat. I'm here to help you succeed. I'm here to help you learn. Again, here's that email address. You probably have it, but here it is for you to jump on quickly there. The rest of this page might be a little overwhelming, and I don't want to be overwhelming. We are in day 2, right? Week 1. I don't want you to be overwhelmed by this, but I want to show you where the information is. So here is every single assignment in this class for the next 17 weeks. All right. So again, this might feel overwhelming, but at least it's here for you to see. Maybe you prefer to see it all in one place. That's great. I'll show you a better way to see it, in my opinion, better, or maybe not better, maybe more manageable chunks we'll look at this modules section. You should have gotten multiple announcements from me already. If you're not getting them in an email, please again go set up your notifications so that you're getting those communications. You can also view announcements here, any past announcements in this tab. Like, oh wait, what do I have to do this week? Well, I sent out an announcement pretty much every Monday morning that tells you exactly what you have to do. Week 1, it's a lot of information, right? Week 2 gets a lot more succinct. And then once we get into our rhythm, week 3, it's just a really good reminder to kind of check in on what you have to get done. Maybe you don't get the announcements, you don't come into Canvas to look, but you log in and you say, what do I have to do this week? All of the modules, again, this is our primary link right here. All of our modules are week by week. So you can see in week 1, I have a clear list of things for you to do. This link was from last semester. I'll update it with the one that we're doing right now. You can see here that you need to purchase the Connect access. Again, there is the free 2 week access available to you. Here's a lecture video on chapter one. This is me sharing screen, really trying to bring out the real life parts of business that we're going to deal with in this class. So as you're reading the book, and our book does a pretty good job of the managerial perspective, it is not talking at you like you're going to be a lawyer. But my idea with the lectures is just bringing to life some of those concepts, or maybe even honing in on some of the content and saying, here's this thing and here's this thing and here's how they're different and how they're similar. Um, just an added way for you to gain that information. So this fully online class, these are your links. Tonight we have this live Zoom. I'm glad some of you were able to make it. But I can't even, because of how this class is scheduled, I can't even require you to come to a live Zoom. So I provide as much information as I can for you here, a lot of lecture videos as you'll see, and that way you are getting instruction from me when you can watch it, when you can do it. I pretty much have all of the systems, all of the assignments set up on a weekly basis. You'll see this is week one again. Um, so it should be manageable in this week. And I give you a lot of flexibility in this week. The discussion boards are first due on Thursday with your initial response. And then again, by Sunday, you'll be responding to other students. The reading, I give you points for reading. Due on Sunday. Chapter quiz, due on Sunday. So again, we'll go over all of these points and how that looks like the whole point structure, if you will, for the class in just a moment. But here it is kind of assignment by assignment and the points that you get for those things. Here's week two, again, very similar. Lecture videos to help you understand the content. Chapter two, reading, smart book in McGraw-Hill Connect right here, right? Here's your discussion board again. You'll see that first due date on the Thursday for your initial post. And your exercise, I waited till week two to throw this in, giving you a kind of like a small project, like a one-page type project, for you to take what you're learning in the book, what you're hearing in the lecture, and be able to look at real life business right now and kind of see that overlap of that information. Chapter two quiz. So very consistent after we get into week three, after we get into week two, week three, lecture videos, here's your assignments. So I hope this breakdown, a little bit more manageable, can help you see, in addition to my Monday messages to you, um, helps you see exactly what's required of you as we go forward week by week. Again, we'll look at this on the syllabus as well to kind of bring it home. But just real quick, again, I give you points for reading your book. If you have not used SmartBook before, I've had students read and they're like, I read it, but I didn't get the points. SmartBook is a system. It's kind of meant to be a little bit more engaging. So you're not just kind of reading words on paper, next page, next page, next page. The SmartBook actually brings out some questions and engages you a little bit more in the reading. I've had students say that they like it, that it actually helps them kind of retain the information a little bit better. And so I've had good feedback there. I do give you points because I'll tell you what, this is from my experience in business. When you show up to work on time and you get your work done, you don't even have to be the highest achiever. But if you show up and you get your stuff done, in large part, you're going to be in pretty good shape in business. When you show up to your appointments on time, you're going to be okay, right? I mean, that's the majority of business. Now, of course, if you want to grow, you want to go start your own business. Now we're talking about a little bit more engagement, harder work, right? But I'm giving you these points and showing up. And if you show up and you get your stuff done day after day, right, week after week in this class, you're going to benefit in this class with your grade. With the start kind of sprinkling in, here's how you meet your goals. If you're going to this classes to get an A after every week, you're going to be doing the chapter quiz, maybe even multiple times to max out those points. Participate in the discussion, right? These are all things that you control. A post on Thursday. Actually, let's go ahead and look at this and see what that expectation looks like. Oh, I can't see it because it's not open right now. And I'm a student right now. Let's go look at week one. So week one, pretty easy. I just have you do an introduction on yourself, but you'll get an idea of how the grading works in just a minute here. So I ask you, hey, why are you here? Just kind of like we are in a class, right? Why are you here? What experience do you have? What do you want to do? What's your hopes for this class, and in your future, right? In business. Um, Here's what the grading rubric looks like. So these discussion posts, again, you have total control over this. Maybe we can see it. So your initial post, again, due by Thursday, is worth 5 points. And really, here's your 0 points. You don't post on time. Here's a 1 point. Hey, thanks so much for sharing. I agree with you. Ugh. When you're having a conversation with somebody in a class or on the street or at work, right? You're gonna, you're gonna give some input. How are you doing? Here's what I'm doing. So although quality, right, that what you're writing is important for this discussion boards, I do give you some quantity guidelines, right? If it's just one sentence, we're over in this world. If you want to get an A in this class, you're in your 5 points for your post. We're looking at 3 to 4 sentences, and I want you to engage, right? And this is just like us having a conversation in the classroom. When you're responding to your classmates after your initial post, by the way, you have to make an initial post before you can respond to your classmates. So when you click in there and it's empty, it's because you need to post first. And then you get a chance to have a conversation with your classmates. Even though this is a fully online class, there's a lot of benefit you gain when you're reading other people's perspectives. Diversity in perspectives is all great learning opportunities. And so you're going to be responding to two classmates every week, like we would be sitting in a class. So that's the grading rubric. You'll be able to see this in Canvas. In this first week, I grade these super quickly because I want you to be able to quickly, or in the sake of this class, quickly recognize where you might be deficient. You're like, oh, I want to get it in this class. Why in the world did I only get 8 points? Right? I made my first post, but I only got 8 points on the discussion. Use this rubric as a guide. In my opinion, I'm looking for how well you're doing. And so this isn't supposed to be punitive. And hopefully this rubric gives you kind of a clear expectation. So again, if you want an A, here's your expectation for those full points for the discussion. I'm not here trying to like beat you down, and I want to go in there like, oh, that's an awesome post. Thanks so much, great job, and give you a 5. Like that's what I want. But if you don't have time, you're busy, you're working, you're taking care of family, you got kids at home, whatever it is. Uh, I understand that. And maybe not every week you get a full 5 points or full 10 points. You just don't have the time. That's fine. No problem. That's up to you. Totally up to you. Again, I'm here to help you reach your goals. So going back, this is our week one assignments. Reading, discussion board, quiz. Into week two, and again, I don't know if we'll be able to see this right now or not, but yeah. So these exercises are a one-page kind of answer the following questions. They are not meant to be hard, but they are meant to engage you in real life business, overlapping what this theory and law is that we're learning about in the class. So far, so good, right? You have total control over the points that you're earning in this class. We'll look at that in one other kind of layout in just a minute. Week 3 and on and on. So the modules tab over here on the left, I think is probably your go-to as far as accessing. When you click on this smart book, it'll take you to McGraw-Hill after you sign up. This chapter quiz will take you to McGraw-Hill to take the quiz. So all these links are already scheduled out and they're already linked to the appropriate place for the entire class. I work really hard at the beginning of these online classes to make sure that everything's buttoned up. And so that when you jump into it, there's consistency, you know exactly where things are, and there's as little confusion as possible. So hopefully this has been clear so far. You can access your grades in Canvas in this link. And when you complete your SmartBook assignments on the reading and on the quiz, those points will come into your grade book in Canvas. So this will be kind of the central spot for your grades. Again, super clear, you know what's expected of you. You can see it all right here week by week as you go through. And lastly, before we jump into the syllabus, here's that link from McGraw-Hill Connect. Because I'm a test student, this won't function in the same way, but it's really easy. I mean, you all have bought stuff online before. It's the same setup. So you click on this. Oh, let's see if it'll work. Yeah. Because I'm a fake student right now, it's not going to work. But on this page, you'll see the option to log in and pay. You'll see free 2 weeks, or you'll see enter a code that you may have bought from the bookstore at IVC. For your fastest access, it would be paying through McGraw-Hill or getting the 2 week access. Actually, that's your fastest. Get the free 2 weeks, and then within the next 2 weeks, you're going to either pay or get your code from the bookstore if you have that access to the bookstore. All right, I haven't seen any chats pop up yet, so I feel like I'm doing well. We're doing good on time. Um, if you have any questions, again, feel free to use that chat. The syllabus link again is right here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the PDF. A little bit easy to scroll through. So when you click that link and open this up, this is what you'll get. And we're going to start on the back side. All right. So in Canvas, we saw every single assignment in a list, maybe overwhelming. We saw the modules where every assignment is broken up into our weeks. Pretty clear there. Here is our one-page kind of schedule and flow and the dates associated with the different chapters. So I don't have every assignment listed out in here, but of course we just saw that in the modules tab. So you can see our schedule is actually pretty well spaced out. I do have 3 exams in this class, as opposed to a midterm and a final. The idea behind those is that out of all the assignments we've talked about so far, the reading, the quizzes, the discussion boards, and the exercises in Canvas that we just saw, the exams are the one thing that are kind of an unknown for you, right? Especially that first exam. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to be like. They look a lot like the quizzes, but they are different questions than the quizzes have. But you jump into a new class, maybe you don't know me, you haven't taken me before as a teacher, a new experience here. These exams are kind of the unknown for you in this class. I've set up the point structure in this class so that when you're showing up to work and you're getting your stuff done, these exams have a less weight on your final grade. I'll show you those points in just a minute. So this exam one, you don't have to get an A on exam one to get an A in the class. But you do have to be showing up and getting your stuff done, right? If you're doing the reading and the quizzes and the discussions, you're doing all that stuff. That exam has a smaller weight on your final grade. One of the other things I've tried to do in this class is diversify these exams a little bit more. So you'll see that there's 3 exams, chapters 1 through 5, chapters 6 through 15, exam number 3 at the end of the class. This is not a cumulative final exam. It only covers these last chapters at the end of the class. So I found with students that this gives you an opportunity to also learn from your experiences, take an exam, figure out, oh, next time I take an exam, I have to study differently or I have to do something different. It gives you more opportunities to kind of fix it up, if you will. And also with this, kind of spreading the points out. If you have one bad week, you're sick. Uh, you're having a hard day at work or a hard week at work. If you have a bad week in this class, that will not dictate your grade by itself. Now, if you have 2, 3, 4 bad weeks and you're not getting your stuff done, that's going to affect your grade, right? But all of this system is set up so it's not me subjectively giving you points. I don't give you any points. You earn every point in this class. In some ways, it's on you, right? And again, I'm here to help you learn. I'm here to walk through it with you. But it's not about me and whether or not I like you or whether or not you bring your book to class or you know what I mean. It's the work is on you to accomplish here. So that's what our schedule looks like. Not crazy, about a chapter a week. Um, Obviously, it will take some people longer than others to maybe do the reading or do the quizzes, no problem. This McGraw-Hill Connect system, one of the other reasons I like it is that you have access in a number of ways. I do have students tell me, hey, I did your whole class on my phone. Now, I personally wouldn't want to do that on the little screen, right? But if that's all the tech you have, you can still succeed in this class. Tablet, laptop, computer, obviously, all these tools are going to help. But whatever tech you have, you should be able to get through this class. And side note, if you need tech, a computer, a hotspot, if you have technology needs, I'll give you some resources in a few minutes in the syllabus. There's links in here and on the IVC website to help you succeed in school. We have a great campus at IVC. I'm grateful to be here. I have awesome colleagues and we have a ton of support for our students. And so if you're having challenges, please let me know or reach out to somebody on the campus to help you succeed. Here is the overview, sorry, of the points for the class. You can see here the chapter assignments. I put that over here. That's the reading, the smart book. 8 points each. That's 17% of your grade just by doing the reading. Your quizzes, again, which you can take over and over again to max out those points, that's another 17% of your grade. The exercises, again, not difficult, but they will take some time. Uh, those are about a 1 page kind of little project each week. Not every week, but most weeks. That's another 16% of your grade. And your discussion participation points, again, you have control over that. Again, it will take some time. The idea here with the discussions too, you're going to be reading about this stuff. And these discussions kind of force you to do a little bit of reasoning, a little bit of research maybe to go, okay, we're talking about this topic in this week. What's my perspective? These discussions there's no right or wrong answer. What I look for in these discussions on the quality kind of piece is the why. You say, oh, in business, I would suggest doing this because, and that's the important piece that I'm looking for. Yeah, we have some quantity, 3 to 4 good sentences. But what I'm really looking for in your discussion is the why. I believe this because. And what's great about this, again, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm not going to reply back to you and say, oh, you got it wrong, 0 points. I want you, just like in life, just like in business, there is a rarely, unless it's illegal, there's rarely a right and a wrong decision. It usually has a lot of consequences involved, right? Whatever your decision is. So in business, again, part of your thinking differently through this class is to engage that. Go, okay, what do I believe? What would I do? And why would I do that? That's what I want in these discussion board posts. Again, you have total control over that, another 16% of your grade. So you can see by taking 0 exams, you would get a D in the class. If you did everything else right, you would still get a D. But you take 1 exam and you're already at a C, right? Even if you don't pass the exam. So I've really tried to diversify these points so that when you're showing up, when you're getting your stuff done, slowly, little by little, right, you're earning that grade that you're going to get at the end of this class. The exams are that kind of unknown. But if we do some rough math, you can see that these 3 exams are worth about 32% of your grade. That means if you get a D on these three exams, you're not going to get a D in the class. Like maybe that puts you in a C. But you tell me a class you go to and you get D's on all the exams, you get a C in the class. You can do that here. Of course, if you want to get that B, get that A, you're going to be studying and prepping more and more for those exams and earning those higher points on the exam scores. But you can get an A on this class without getting an A on every exam. I mean, that's how these points work out. So hopefully this is clear for you. You know exactly what is expected of you here with this. I'm giving you a clear picture of how to meet your goals. If your goal is to get an A, here's how it works. Here's how you're doing it. This next section in the syllabus, again, you can pull this up at any time you want through Canvas, but I'll go through it quickly with you. The exams are multiple choice. It is timed. And so because this is a fully online class and you're taking these on a computer, It's kind of the one kind of function I have to kind of curb against cheating really is about limiting the time that you can take on the exams. There is just one attempt on these exams, and you don't have enough time to look up every answer. I'll just say that, okay? So prepping for these exams can be very important. Reviewing the chapters that you're learning about leading up to these exams, very helpful. Retaking quizzes can be helpful too. You can see the exercises and the discussions. There's a description given here. I'll say Canvas has gotten a little bit better. I know in the past I had a big issue with Mac or Apple users and using what is it, Pages is the file. I think Canvas can see those now. But if you want to be safe, Word or PDF, or if you're using like a Google Drive or something, a Google Doc, you can also export that as a PDF. Basically, I need to be able to see it in Canvas. So every assignment comes into Canvas, I can see it. If I can't see it in Canvas, I'll send you a message, but I can't grade something I can't see, right? So try to try to make sure that you can see it in Canvas as well if you want to double check. Quizzes, again, I've already mentioned it, but every chapter has a quiz worth 8 points each, multiple choice. And again, you have multiple chances to take each quiz for the highest score. Homework, this is your reading. Again, I'm giving you points for reading. You're welcome. Uh, and then also, here's the thing. I'm pretty rigid on my late work. And here's the reason why. I give you a lot of flexibility in a week, right? You got 7 days to get almost everything done, a whole week to get everything done. You can watch the lectures whenever you want, right? You can jump into these assignments whenever you want. So in that week, you have a lot of flexibility. But at the end of that week, and we're moving on to a new discussion, like the class is in a different room now. For you to try to access an old class or a class from last week, I mean, you're going to be standing in a room by yourself. That's just not helpful for anybody. So we do look at the week by week. I am pretty rigid on my late work. With that said, you saw the points already, right? You don't have to have a perfect attendance to get an A in this class, right? You might miss a couple points. You might not have an A on every exam, but you still have every opportunity to earn an A in this class with the points that are available to you. Usually, where I have issues with this, the end of the semester, and in the last week or after the class ends, I get emails. Rick, can I please do extra credit? It's like, well, if you missed work 30 times and then you get fired, you can't show up after you're fired and be like, I really want my job back. It's kind of too late at that point, right? So I'm a little bit more rigid on my late work, and especially at the end of the class. Here's where I can give some, I don't even want to call it grace. I just feel like it's appropriate. If you're in the hospital, if you get sick and you're like, oh, I had a sore throat for 3 days this week, there's 4 other days in the week, right? Like that might sound a little harsh, right? But this is the real world. We're adults here. We gotta figure out how to make life work, right? If you absolutely can't get it done, that one missed assignment, that one week, bad week is not going to kill your entire grade for this class. If you do like have to go to the hospital or something, please do send me a doctor's note. And I don't want to hear about what's going on with you. I don't want anything specific from the doctor, but the doctor will say, this student was, could not be or excused from school, and they'll put dates on there. So if you have something real that comes up, I have a friend right now that's in the hospital. He had a stroke 2 weeks ago. Like, there's a doctor's note that can help with that. Also, if something is coming up and it's just super extraordinary, uh, please try to reach out to me before the due date. When you miss an assignment, when you show up late to work, when you don't show up to work at all, and the next day you're like, "Oh, I was sick." They're like, Why didn't you tell me yesterday?" Um, please try to let me know before the due date, before. Again, emergencies, we've got doctor notes. If there's something else coming up, please communicate with me earlier. Um, when it's past due and the assignment's done and the class has moved on to something else, it's a little late, for that. So sorry to keep harping on that, but I just want to be super clear up front so it's not a surprise and then I don't have to like, be mean in the middle of the semester or something. Here it is in black and white. Oh, and highlighted again. You'll see the letter grades here again in Canvas. As we go through this class, you will see what your grades are. You are controlling that. This percentage and letter grade system is from IVC. This is not a Rick Boone thing. We do not have pluses and minuses in this at the college, at the district. So at the end of Canvas, your calculation adds up and it says you have an 88%. Your grade's a B. Like that's what it is. That's not me being mean. That's not me being nice. Just like I don't choose individual students to give grades to. I don't choose individual students to take grades away from, right? Like this is your work and this is the percentages and this is the letter grades. So it'll be really clear for you as we go through kind of where you're at in Canvas. You can track along with this. I put all that power in your hands. This is real business, right? I think this office just changed its name, but what these little sections talk about are resources for you. If you're having any challenges in class, please feel free to come to me. Let me know what's going on. If you don't want to come to me, that's okay too. Here's some links. Here's some phone numbers. Of course, the IVC website has a ton of resources. We've got a veteran center that's huge, huge help for veteran students. We've got programs that help previous foster youth or people or kids that have grown up in the system. We've got a food bank if you're like you need some food, like there's food on campus for you. If you're in an emergency, it's not an ongoing thing, but if you're in an emergency and you don't have somewhere to sleep, there are hotel vouchers at the campus. If you need technology, a Wi-Fi hotspot, a computer, those resources are available. The library is a huge resource on campus too, if you can get there. A ton of help for you at the campus. So whatever your situation is, this is one of the reasons I love community college. You could be living in your car, you could have millions of dollars in your bank account. You're all getting the same access to information. You're getting the same access to an amazing teacher. I'm just kidding. Um, and you're getting this great access. So we're giving you the tools that can help you succeed. This I love this system. I love teaching at the community college and specifically at IVC. It's awesome. If it's not clear yet, we are using two systems for you in this class. Canvas, we have seen. That second system, McGraw-Hill Connect, is available through those Canvas links. If you need any tech support, our tech support teams are actually really great at the campus too. There's a link for you there. Continuing to scroll through, there's a little bit more kind of cookie cutter stuff. Don't cheat, academic dishonesty, do your own work. I do not use AI at all in my classes. I expect you to not use AI only. I Google a lot of stuff. My kids will be like, "Hey, Pop, what year did that, was Angel Stadium built?" Like, I don't know. Look it up, right? So I don't mind, when you look up something to find out information. But at the end of the day, like you're having to portray your own thoughts. And again, in the discussion boards, I'm asking you about your opinion. When it's AI generated, we can usually kind of tell. But I want you to, again, that why behind your answer, I want you to be able to explain why you think what you think. I mean, what a great opportunity for you, right? Again, super clear. We do not need a hard copy book in this class. Hard copy optional. The bookstore at IBC, I think they do have a hard copy loose leaf, like you put it in a binder. And they do that to make it cheap, less expensive. And that in the library, I believe also comes with an access code. But again, the access code you can purchase directly through Canvas as well. A bunch of links. If you don't have it or haven't had it, you do get Office 365. There's also Google through your IVC account. Drop policies. I'll take a half a minute on this. After week 1, if you are in the class, you do not get dropped because you're showing up, you're participating, you show up on week 1. After that point, I will never drop you. Uh, Rick Boone, after I got my bachelor's degree, I wanted to learn how to weld. I went to Orange Coast College and took a welding class. And in the middle of that class, I got really busy at work and I stopped going. Fast forward, gosh, 6 years or something, I went to apply for my master's in business at Cal State Fullerton. And of course, they want to see all your transcripts. I pull my OCC transcript, and there it is, Welding 101 F. I did not drop that class, and I kind of assumed that the teacher would do it for me, but I will not do that for you. If you are going to drop, you need to drop. Um, I've had many more students come back in the middle of the semester or at the end of the semester and be able to squeak out a passing grade as opposed to me dropping you and you lose financial aid and transfer expectations and all that stuff. So after week one, I will not drop you. You will need to drop yourself. If you're in a place where you're having a hard time and you're stuck and you're like, you feel like you're failing, please come see me. Let's chat. I feel like oftentimes when my students are in a tough place, it feels crazy and it feels overwhelming. Um, Sometimes it's not as bad as it might feel. And so I can usually guide you and give you some directions on where to focus your attention and time to help you finish out the class as opposed to failing. But again, early communication is super helpful. Let me know early if you're having issues. If you know of an issue upcoming, please reach out. Let me know. We're in an online format. Here's just kind of some general information about that. I kind of already told you about our weekly assignments. You have a lot of flexibility in that week, but once that week is over, we're on to the next week. This class is not correspondence. You can't just log in and do whatever you want whenever you want. That's not how this works. So hopefully that makes sense to you at this point. The learning outcomes that you'll expect to get out of this class, the description, all this is in the catalog or anyway, but it's there. Here's the information on our specific class. We're here 17 weeks together. Here are some dates. Please check it in my site or in Banner. But these are just kind of for your convenience, so you're aware of it. You probably saw that on the page 6 that we started with. Here's my information. My office phone, if you need to chat, but I'm rarely like sitting at my phone. I get an email of your voicemail. So again, the quickest way to get me, do you send me a quick email? Even if you say, hey, Rick, can we chat tomorrow? Like, doesn't have to be anything fancy. But let's communicate. I can reply back more quickly this way for sure. This is my physical office. If you do want to come visit me, again, I'll be on campus Tuesdays 1 to 3, or again, by appointment whenever you might be available. I'm happy to meet you outside of those hours. That is the syllabus. We have 8 more minutes. I have not seen any chat questions come up. I'm a little surprised. Maybe it was just that clear. I hope that'd be awesome. I hope you leave this class and be like, oh my gosh, Rick was the best teacher ever. That's what I want for you here, right? So if there's things that you're not getting, it's unclear right now, or if you're having challenges through the class, let me know. I'm not perfect, but I want to support you and help you learn. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing. If a question comes up, we can always open one of those files back up again. But I want to leave just a quick minute or two to answer any chat questions. And then just a couple minutes, if I don't hear anything, I'll go ahead and stop recording. And then we can just, feel free to chat and ask any other questions as well. Since I'll just wait a second here, maybe somebody's typing. One of the things I like about business law, again, because I feel like in some ways it's tooling your brain to think differently and it's to think like business. I'm a huge fan of business classes in general because every single industry, wherever you go work in your future, you're going to have business. Almost every business has managers, has human resources, has marketing, has research and development, has accounting. All of these business functions live in every industry in the world. So I'm a huge advocate for business classes and particularly with business law because I feel like it does kind of retrain your brain a little bit to think differently. I have had some students, not again, not just to pat myself on the back, like I don't need to make myself more important for you, but I've had students come back from Fullerton after they transfer and say, "Oh, business law class, I learned this and this that helped me get through my business program at Cal State Fullerton." And real life business and the law pieces. And for me in real life, knowing when I need to call a lawyer, uh, and maybe how to avoid having to call a lawyer. What can I do now in my conversations, in our contracts, in our agreements? What can I get up front, in writing or verbal, or I mean, it can look like a lot of different things you'll learn in this class. How do I do that up front to avoid future issues? Future liability is huge, right? I just heard of I was talking to my sister today, and a company that she has partnered with in the past just got sued. The company, corporation, private though, not publicly held. It's a private group of investors that owns a hotel in Newport Beach. The hotel got sued, and the owners, the investors of that hotel, lost the lawsuit, and they owe $100 million in the lawsuit, and they're going to have to file bankruptcy. They might have to sell the property. I don't even know. But just to show you, like in real business, right? Especially in California, lawsuits are really easy. If you can think about as many things as possible, again, we're not perfect, right? But if we can think of as many things as possible up front to avoid that future lawsuit or to avoid miscommunication or muddy thinking, right? When you're thinking about expectations in business, any avoidance of that is super helpful in this world. So, all right, I'll leave you with that. I don't see any chats. I'll go ahead and stop recording. If you have to take off, feel free to take off, but I can answer additional questions now. Thank you again for being here.